Welcome back to another edition of Ginger the Plane. In today's show, we're going to discuss some of the ways that I mitigate risk when flying over the San Juan Islands. There's a lot of open water out there, and I've had a lot of viewer questions about how do you stay safe when you're over that much ocean. And I'm sure that my responses will differ a little bit from some other pilots, but these are the ways that I've developed that help to keep me safe. So if you take a look at the map of the area here, you'll notice that there are quite a few islands, and depending on where you go, you can fly literally from one island to another. One of the things that I try to do is to always stay a little bit close to some land, especially if there's an airfield on that island. There are a lot of restricted airports. You can see them all around the San Juan Island chain. But probably the island that I fly over the most when heading to Lopez Island or San Juan Island to see either Friday Harbor or Roach Harbor. The island I fly over most often is Blakely Island. And Blakely Island has a small private airport located on the north end of the island. And it's not open to public use. It is a private airport. You either have to be invited by someone who lives there to land, or you can call ahead and you can speak with the airport manager, and if it's okay with him, then it's okay to go there and land. For the purposes of today's flight, what I thought I would do is go down and have a closer look at Blakely Island Airport. I called ahead, I got permission, I set up a time, and the parameters around that were if anyone's in the pattern or if there are operations on the ground at the time that I arrive, then I would politely wait and allow those operations to happen, and then I could come in and do a low pass. It was not cleared to land, but I was allowed to do a low pass. So why am I doing this? Well, earlier I talked about ways to mitigate risk when flying over open water like this. And my idea was, I've flown over Blakely dozens of times, probably, maybe 100 times by now. But I've never actually gone down low enough to have a good look at this airport to really know how would I approach it, what obstacles may be in my way. If I lost the motor and I was within gliding distance of Blakely, would I be able to approach it from the west, maybe come around from the east? I just have never been down low enough to really have a look to feel comfortable that I could make a landing there if I really had to. So tonight I decided that I would do that. This is about probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, and sky is starting to get a little bit dark, and it was just a really calm, gorgeous day, ideal conditions for doing this. So settle in. This is going to be a really cool video, and in the process of me checking out the airstrip there at Blakely, you'll also get an opportunity to take a closer look at the Airpark that's located around the airport. And again, private airport, invitation only, or call ahead and speak with the airport manager. Blakely traffic, Cessna 768, 3 miles to the north. Inbound, going to do a right downwind entry to runway 19 Blakely. Blakely traffic, orange Cessna, entering the pattern, right downwind pattern for runway 19, Blakely. Okay, we're starting to turn onto our right downwind for runway 19. And some of the things I'm starting to see here as I roll out onto the downwind are a pretty high mountain actually on the south side of the airfield. That's Blakely Peak. It's about 1,000 feet in height. The other thing I'm noticing here is that big island right off the nose. That's Obstruction Island, appropriately named because I'm going to have to go right over that as I turn onto my base leg to final. The question here is how high is it going to be and how much of an obstruction is it going to be? I'm going to be a little high here as I go over the airport, so we'll have a closer look as I turn in over the island. Blakely traffic, Cessna 768 is turning right base for runway 19, Blakely. As I'm turning onto my base leg, I'm maintaining an additional 300 to 500 feet higher than I would normally be at this point on my base to final turn. And if I were to be coming in from the east, I would want to make sure that I keep that additional altitude on my way into Blakely. You can see I'm really not that high above those trees at the moment. I am lining up really well and it's looking good. At this point I would be dumping in a whole lot more flaps, maybe throwing in a slip and getting myself down a little bit lower to make sure that I make that runway. Speaking of the runways, that's only 2,200 feet long and no overruns. Blakely traffic, Cessna 768, we're flying the field, runway 19, Blakely. Well, that was pretty cool. I've never actually been down near Blakely Airport, and it was neat to see all the houses on either side of the runway. So what did I learn today? Well, right patterns for runway 19, left patterns for runway 01. If you're approaching from the north, you want to watch out for Obstruction Island. If there was ever an island with a more appropriate name, I don't know. Approaching from the south, you want to watch out for Blakely Peak. That's 1,047 feet high. And I would assume that if you're approaching from the south, that you probably wouldn't even know where Blakely Island Airport is because the peak is obstructing it. The runway itself is 2,200 feet long. Speed control, I would imagine, is really critical to getting a good landing on that runway. And of course, because of water on both ends, there's absolutely no place for an overrun on that runway. Westerly departures are preferred, or at least they would be for me. And I actually feel a lot better about flying over Blakely and knowing now that I can use this airfield in the event of an emergency. It's just wonderful to have been able to get down and have a closer look, and I really appreciate that I was allowed to do that. Thank you to the Airpark folks that I flew over. I hope I didn't make too much noise that night, and thank you for the permission to be able to do that. This is going to give me great peace of mind, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. 768 at the river.
Cherokee 6 Charlie Whiskey, turn left, taxiway Echo.
Left Echo, 6 Charlie Whiskey.
November 649 Charlie Papa, runway 16, clear for takeoff.
For takeoff, 16, Charlie.
Cessna 768, traffic departing prior to your arrival to Cap Cessna, runway 16, cleared to land.
16 cleared to land, have departing traffic in sight 768. Well, we've fast forwarded back to the airport in Bellingham, and what would a Ginger the Plane video be without a landing? And I have to say, this particular landing this night was a really good one, and I don't generally make those kinds of statements because if you've seen any of my other videos, I've had a lot of turkeys, and you know, not every landing is going to be jet airline pilot quality. I'm sorry, but this particular landing I was really proud of, and I'll let you watch that. And if you're one of my new subscribers or a subscriber from, you know, the very beginning, I have something very special that I want to share with you after the landing, and stay tuned for that.
Cessna 9 Charlie Papa, contact Victoria Terminal 132.7, safe flight.
Victoria, 6 Charlie, for 9 Charlie Papa, good day.
Intentional aircraft, use caution for a small flock of seagulls approaching midfield east of the runway, southbound, probably about 500, 700 feet. Cessna 768, turn left taxiway Delta, straight into parking and monitor ground.
Welcome, 768. See, I told you, not too bad of a landing. Now, I only get 1 in 100 of those, so the next 99 landings are going to be garbage, so you'll just have to forgive me. But if you stuck around this long and you wanted to hear what it was that I had to say, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my current subscribers. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers that we got over the last 2 weeks. The last video we moved to an Airpark went mini viral, and I have really no way to understand why. I put that video out for a couple of reasons. First, to say thank you to the subscribers I had for hanging in there with me while I was on about a 4 or 5 month break. But I also wanted to share what an amazing experience it was to be able to move to a residential Airpark community, and just, you know, the joy that we had, and just how excited we were for the future, my wife and I and Ginger. And the response was just incredible. I more than doubled the amount of subscribers on the channel, and the views are just crazy. My biggest video before that was 20,000 views, and this one's 45 or 49,000 and climbing. I have no words to express how thankful I am for this overwhelming and just incredible outpouring of support. So thank you all, whether you've been with me from the beginning, like my good friend Bosco Bob, who was one of my very first subscribers. Thank you, sir. And you know, to my latest subscriber, I am just so thankful that you're here. You know, this channel is about Ginger. It's not called Tom the Pilot. It's not about me. You'll rarely see me on camera. It's really all about Ginger and the places that she takes us, the adventures that we have. And true to the spirit of that, that is how this channel will be going forward. I'm planning a lot of things this year. 3 Canadian trips, in fact. Trips down south. You know, there's a In-N-Out Burger in Salem, Oregon with my name on it. So we are going to be going there too. And just a lot of other places in between, meeting up with friends and, you know, just seeing places that I think you guys would find interesting. So again, thank you. If you're new to the channel, hang in there. I'll have a lot more content. And thank you so much again to my former, or not former, hopefully not former subscribers, but the folks that were here from the beginning. Greatly appreciate all of you. And I'll close the video out now just with that. And I'm just incredibly overwhelmed. So you could probably tell. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. And thanks again. And we'll see you out there.